so excited for WrestleMania this year. As we get closer, and it's just like time is crawling towards the weekend as we get ready for 2 nights of WrestleMania. It is going to be an absolute blast. A chance for Cody to finish the story. And while that will be an amazing WrestleMania moment, and there are so many potential WrestleMania moments this year, I do worry we're putting a bit too much focus on that. And now hear me out. Like the WrestleMania moment is the biggest thing you can get in pro wrestling, basically. There's some who would disagree with that. Obviously, a Wrestle Kingdom moment, an all-in moment, or whatever, right? Like there are different bars for different people. But like the biggest stage you can wrestle on still is WrestleMania. And so big moments there do seem to just kind of last forever. But WrestleMania doesn't have to have the monopoly on big moments, and I worry that's where WWE has gotten to. You look at it right now, Roman Reigns' title run could come to an end, 1,300 days or whatever. Seth Rollins' 300-day run could come to an end. Rhea Ripley, over a year as a champion, that could come to an end. You know, Gunther, almost 700 days as a champion, that could come to an end at WrestleMania. All of these don't have to end at WrestleMania. We can spread this out. There hasn't been a title change on a pay-per-view since November. And that was the United States Championship with Logan Paul beating Rey Mysterio at Crown Jewel. And then like before that, you have like a Night of Champions. There was a championship crown. I think Asuka beat Bianca for a title at Fastlane. But overall, they have done an amazing job of building this up. And I do think that they kind of needed to do something like this to reestablish some of these titles. Like Gunther's 700-day championship reign has absolutely made the Intercontinental title feel very important. And like a win over Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Rhea Ripley is going to feel very important. And so I do think part of this is they just needed to reestablish the importance of these championships. And I'm not saying this needs to be the Attitude Era and you hotshot a new champion every Monday and Thursday or Friday, depending on the era, I suppose. But I do worry that it's become a little bit predictable in that, it's, what's this paper? It's Backlash. No, we're not going to have a title change at Backlash. We're going to wait till SummerSlam and we're going to wait till WrestleMania. And so I just feel like it's become a little bit too, this is the WrestleMania moment. And what a big moment it'll be to beat Gunther at WrestleMania or to beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And so I just feel like in the next WWE year, right? Because this is essentially the night after WrestleMania is New Year's Day for the WWE. In this next WWE year, I would like there to be a little bit more focus on making it a little bit more unpredictable, I guess, around the Blue Jays. Or sorry, I got a text. Sorry, around these championship changes and stuff like that. Because it feels like every title now, okay, we need to have a long run and it needs to end at WrestleMania. Like that. There can be a little bit of in between there. So I would like a little bit more spontaneity, I guess, with some of these title changes in the future. The night after WrestleMania, as I said, feels like it's New Year's Day. And a lot of times we have had a few debuts. Like we had Brock Lesnar coming back that one year. Enzo and Big Cass debuted. I believe they debuted on that show. Either way, we've had in the past some big moments on the night after WrestleMania. And so I have put together a list of 5 of who I think could show up the night after WrestleMania at Monday Night Raw. Number 1, this one seems obvious. It's Carmelo Hayes. He has passed the level that is NXT. He is so ready for the main roster. And I think he would be an amazing addition to this roster, 100%. The next one is Tama Tonga. Don't know where he would fit in all of it, but I think that he is absolutely someone who, like, he apparently has signed with the WWE. I have always been very intrigued by his talent, and so it wouldn't be the biggest splash, but I think having him debut in front of a quote-unquote smart audience would be a smart thing for them to do. Same thing with Julia, coming over from Stardom. I just like this is a superstar in the making, I think. And again, you have her debut with a bit of a smart audience. It sounds like she's coming over to WWE. If you wanted to start her in NXT, I would understand because she doesn't necessarily have the biggest name. So if you wanted to build that up a little bit, by all means go for it. But I do think Julia coming over from Stardom could be something we see at the night after WrestleMania. Roxanne Perez. This one's tricky because they have just started a heel character with her, and if they want to see how she progresses as a heel in this role, then we could see her in NXT for a little bit longer. I personally don't think she needed the heel character. I think her as a babyface was going to be fine. She is a tremendous performer and has been main roster ready, I think, for about a year now. So I hope we see her kind of get a bit more add a bit of life to the women's division on either Raw or SmackDown. And then the last one is the current NXT champion, Ilya Dragunov. He has also been main roster ready for a little bit. He's quite over the top at times, and so that has soured me on the character a little bit. His title reign has not been all that great, but I do think that he has also kind of passed the level of NXT. And lastly, some other stuff going on in the world of wrestling. This is obviously a big time in the world of wrestling. And so it's a good time. We do this on the MMA previews as well. Just take a step back. Let's see what else is going on in the world of wrestling right now. And quite honestly, WWE has taken up a lot of the air in the world of professional wrestling. It feels like things have very much cooled down on AEW. There isn't a whole lot of buzz around a whole lot with New Japan right now. Now, that'll pick up probably around the summer, but there is so much focus on WWE right now, and quite frankly, how well things are going with WWE, that it has been tough to get some room, and that hasn't always been the case. You could say, oh yeah, it's WrestleMania. But there have been WrestleManias. I remember when we went to WrestleMania back in Dallas at WrestleMania 32. You would have that there are so many indie shows that you were kind of more excited for, and then now let's go see WrestleMania because it's the pageantry and it's the big show and all of those things. But now it is WWE dominating. AEW hasn't really had a story that's clicked, right? They've had matches that have been very fun, and this has been a criticism for a while, but there just isn't that story. There isn't that thing that has really hooked me onto AEW, really post-Sting retirement. Same thing for New Japan. Some of the matches and some of the shows that I'm excited for this weekend, that if I were in Philadelphia, I would be checking out. The first one is, it's probably already happened by the time you hear this, but I do want to mention Stardom American Dream. That one is on Triller on pay-per-view right now. Also later on tonight, it is Shayna Baszler against Masha Slamovich. That is at Bloodsport. Same with Nick Nemeth against Speedball Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey was kind of the superstar of last year. I wonder if Slamovich is going to be it this year, because she shows up on this list a few times. But that Bloodsport show is tonight. That'll be a whole lot of fun. Love Shayna Baszler's involvement in this. You have Slamovich also against Shuri. That one's at the JCW combined card. That one is also tonight. That'll be a blast. On Friday, there's a Tokyo Joshi Pro show that I think is quite intriguing. There's a lot of talented performers on that one as well. Same thing goes for the House of Glory show and Wrestling Revival. I think it's called. I might have written it down wrong. I apologize. But Alex Shelley against Mike Santana. Amazing Red against Mustafa Ali is going to be incredible. And then Mike Bailey against Slamovich again. I think that's going to be a really intriguing match. A couple more here. Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. They have a Stardom Showcase match on there. Plus Eddie Kingston against Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. That will be an absolute blast. Also, I'm interested to see new presentation for Dalton Castle after the boys were released earlier this week. On GCW, Joey Janela Spring Break 8, there are so many matches. I couldn't just pinpoint a couple. There's a lot of really intriguing ones. Saturday, I just love Kaiju Big Battle. We went to the show at midnight on WrestleMania weekend when we were there 8 years ago, and it was so weird and so much fun. So you just, if you're in Philly, you have to check that out. And then lastly, Joey Janela's Spring Break Clusterfuck. They're doing a Punjabi prison match featuring Jacob Fatu's in it. The Bollywood Boys are in there as well. I forget who all the other teams are, but it's just, That is so weird, you have to check it out. So there is still some good stuff, but yeah, WWE is absolutely dominating the weekend as we get ready for WrestleMania.